With every new generation of racket, everyone always wants to know, how exactly does the new gen stack up against its previous model? Today, we're going to pit the brand new 8th generation Yonex EZONE 100 against the 7th gen in a head-to-head comparison to see exactly how different or similar it feels. Predictably, the specs of both the 7th and 8th gen EZONE 100s are basically unchanged. Both still sport a 100 square inch head size, have the unstrung weight and balance of 300 grams and 7 points head light, which comes out to approximately 315 grams and 4 points head light once strung, and a 16 by 19 string pattern. The swing weight and flex are also very similar at approximately 317 and 67 respectively. Some of Yonex's staple technologies are also still here, including 2G NAM speed graphite, VDM, and obviously the iconic Yonex isometric head shape. Yonex has lengthened the frame top section to increase the size of the sweet spot, as well as widened the beam slightly for a little bit of a stiffer, more crisp response at impact. The taper in the midsection is extended for improved flex and ball pocketing. And in the throat, Yonex has added Minilon technology, which itself is a dampening material made by bonding fine threads of minomushi, a very fine thread spun by bagworms. The Minilon material is then sandwiched between the layers of the graphite in the throat, giving the 8th gen EZONE a more plush feel at impact. With all that out of the way, let's get into the playtest. From the back of the court, I like the feel of both rackets, but I think I prefer the 8th gen here. With the slightly stiffer top of the hoop and that improved flex in the midsection, I was able to more confidently swing out off of both wings. I wouldn't say there was really much of a change with the overall stability that I felt, aside from when I was really outstretched, where that little extra touch of stiffness right at the top helped the 8th gen be a little bit more stable. I also noticed that the 8th gen model has a much lower launch angle than the 7th gen, so for those thinking of making the switch, you may have to tinker with your string setup to really dial it in. But for me personally, that lower launch really just gave me the feeling that the more aggressive of a swing I took, the more I was rewarded with a really nice, low penetrating ball flight. And I was really able to put my opponents on their back foot. The addition of the Minilon helps with the more plush feel at impact in the 8th gen, but does almost give the 8th gen a more almost mushy feel at times. Personally, I prefer a little bit more response back from the string bed than I got from the 8th gen, but I think that for most players, that more comfortable feeling really will be appealing. Overall, both are great from the baseline, but the 8th gen does feel slightly softer in the hand while simultaneously having a little bit more power. The story is similar at net. Both rackets are really nice and maneuverable, so getting into position for volleys is really easy. Both are reasonably stable at net. However, I don't particularly love the feel of either of them on volleys. I don't really think I can actually pick one over the other here. The 8th gen feels a little too soft or kind of mushy for me on volleys, but was slightly more stable. The 7th gen, on the other hand, wasn't quite as stable, but was a little more responsive, and therefore I felt that I had a little better feel for what was happening on the string bed. In my opinion, the EZONE lineup in general doesn't actually shine at net. They're really good for volleys, but where they really shine is from the baseline and moving forward. Both rackets felt great on serves. I do kind of prefer that slightly more plush feel on the 8th gen here, but I definitely don't think it actually made much of a performance difference for me. I was really able to quickly adjust to either of the frames for serving. I was hitting both with really good pace and spin. Overall, I think the 8th gen is definitely an improvement over the 7th gen. That softer, more plush feel at impact, while not necessarily something for me, it's definitely something that will make the playing experience more enjoyable for way more players. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions about the 8th gen Yonex EZONE 100, or have any suggestions of things that you want to see us take a look at, let us know down in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and the bell notification button to keep up with all of our latest content. With 2025 on the horizon, there's tons of new rackets coming out, so we're gonna have a ton of new content for you. As always, the 8th gen EZONE, along with the rest of the EZONE lineup, are available both in-store and online at our RacquetGuys website. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.